My name is Melissa Pastillo. I live in Florida, USA, and I run the TikTok and YouTube channel, The Face of Malpractice. I was prescribed alprazolam, which is known as Xanax, and was on the drug for a total of 6 months before tapering for 7 months. Back in 2018, I suffered a traumatic brain injury, and after a few months, I had a vestibular relapse, which put me into a sympathetic nervous system response, and I stopped sleeping. My doctor didn't understand this and prescribed me an SNRI and an SSRI as a sleep aid, which went on to cause serotonin syndrome and left me protracted with 5 symptoms. Unfortunately, this went misdiagnosed as PTSD, and then I was then prescribed a benzodiazepine. I took the benzo as prescribed by my doctor, and after being forced off at month 2, I was then left injured and was told it was escalated PTSD and to go back onto the benzo. As we know, this is a known phenomenon of kindling. And so after my symptoms actually became much worse, and then my doctor suggested ketamine IV treatment. For those that are not aware, benzos work directly on the GABA receptors and downregulate them due to the oversedation of the benzo. Well, as a byproduct of that, glutamate receptors are upregulated, and ketamine directly works on the glutamate receptors. Also, at the same time, many ketamine centers will not tell you that benzos and ketamine metabolize by the same liver enzyme, cytochrome P450, which means that this combination can easily lead someone to oversedation, which unfortunately is what happened to me, and I was forced to cut the benzo in half and then taper over 7 months. During this journey of withdrawal and bind, I was left with convulsions, akathisia, DPDR. I was left 98% disabled and had only access to my hands and my forearms. My husband quit his job to become my full-time caretaker. He had to feed me. He had to clean me after using the bathroom, which was now a bucket 1 foot from my bed. I dealt with neuropathy throughout my head, neck, and back. I had severe electrocution. So if I opened my mouth more than 1 inch or moved my head left or right or up and down, I would have a severe electrocution. I also got occipital neuralgia, vertigo, insulin and cortisol receptor damage. I had severe suicidal ideation, and all I could think about was drowning myself in the pool or tying shoelace around my neck. It felt like the worst acid trip of my life that just wouldn't stop. And I have calculated more than 200 symptoms simultaneously for years. How am I feeling now? I will be 3 years into bind in 1 month from today. I am still 85% disabled. I can only walk 20 minutes a day, and it is very painful for me to sit up even in this position now. My husband still does not work as he's my caretaker. I still have akathisia, mental symptoms, neuropathy, occipital neuralgia, food sensitivity, brain fog, cognitive impairment, anhedonia, and others. But I am nowhere near where I was the first 2.5 years. These drugs not have only stolen my life, but they have also stolen my husband's. Doctors prescribe these drugs in a 15-minute appointment, but they don't realize they go on to destroy generations of family. Not only did my parents lose a daughter, my siblings lost a sister, but I am in my childbearing years and may never have a child because of a decision a doctor made in a 15-minute appointment. To my fellow benzo warriors, I am so sorry your doctor did this to you and did not provide informed consent. I will tell you what a leading expert in the space told me. Your only job is to stay alive. That is it. If you have a caretaker or anyone helping you, they need to help keep you alive. And that is what you also need to do. You need to help keep yourself alive. And you know what? She's right, because one day you will heal. And I'll repeat that. You will heal. We all do. We may not know when, but we do heal. And I assure you, it will be the greatest feat of our lifetime. And to the prescribers, yes by coercion is not a yes by informed consent. You have a legal and ethical obligation to do no harm and provide informed consent. And unfortunately, that is not what is happening. There is a fundamental difference between addiction and dependence, which you do not understand. And you are obliged to get educated on the drugs you prescribe, including very realistic effects of the drugs. 1 in 6 people are injured on this drug. That is not a side effect. That is an effect of the drug. And let's make something very clear. Even with a slow patient-led taper, someone can be left injured. Therefore, once a patient is educated, it must be left to them to decide when to safely taper. Take care.